Among the sounds of Counter-Strike, very few are instantly recognizable to anyone who's played the game for only a few minutes. I would say even the music and gunshots might not find their place in one's memory with only a short gameplay experience. However, sounds like the bombs beeping, aided by the tense aura of the situation and the increasing intensity, jars the sound into a more unforgettable piece of information. Someone who's never played Counter-Strike and only gets a match worth of experience would definitely list the bombs beeping as a sound they remember. But another sound, one that creeps its way out of my memory and into my thoughts from time to time, is the voice on the radio. I believe it was my first video game experience. I was sat down on a computer and Counter-Strike Condition Zero was waiting for me. I was shown how to open the buy menu and grab myself a gun. Then I remember in that moment thinking two things. I imagined the scenario I was about to face. A team of terrorists were waiting for me to run into that building to save the people they were holding hostage. It was life or death. Oh yeah, remember this is the perspective of a 5 or 6 year old, so it was actually really cool at the time. Also, I imagined the dude on the radio. For some reason he just sounded cool. I wasn't trying to envision the character he might play. I was thinking of the people who made the game. I imagined a bunch of guys in their late teens and early 20s making a game together, and one of them was doing these voices. And that's what I thought was the coolest thing about it. I kinda wanted to be like that. If I was older and I could make an awesome game with friends and add whatever I wanted, I could voice a character and bring these scenarios to life. Thinking back on it now, my curiosity for those voice lines peaked. I wanted to find out more, but I couldn't have imagined what I would discover. Looking through YouTube, I couldn't find any videos on this topic, so I did some of my own research, which brought me some heartbreak when I realized this childhood hero of mine was faced with legal trouble. With nothing on YouTube covering this, I decided to take it into my own hands and explain to you the controversy and tell you the story of the voice of Counter-Strike. The year was 1981. An Iranian hostage crisis ended. Riots broke out in the cities across the UK. The AIDS virus was identified, and Jess Cliff was born. From 1999 to 2003, he attended Virginia Polytech Institute and State University. Throughout this time, he was a very active web designer, focusing his attention on gaming. He brought some great things around to the early gaming groups, such as the Jedi Knight multiplayer add-on group, the Action Quake 2 map depot, and Silo X, which was dedicated to Half-Life maps. Throughout these projects, he got to meet and become close with some big people, which led to him becoming the co-founder of an extremely important and influential Half-Life mod, known as Counter-Strike. This was his big hit. Most recognizably, his voice is one of the first sound effects you will hear in the game. He annotates the match by giving live information through your teammates, such as when they throw a grenade or when an enemy is taken out. It really brought a sense to life, even to the single-player mode of Counter-Strike Condition Zero. His voice stuck with me, and I would occasionally find it popping in my head, almost like a song you used to listen to. I think it was because of the inspiration and influence it had on my personal life. The way it told me a small team of friends with a common interest could make something great together. Finally, this last week was the final straw. I was done sitting in the dark and ignoring this calling. I began looking around for some info, and after reading Jess Cliff's wiki, I came across some very sad news. 5 years ago, on February 2nd, 2018, Jess was arrested for the sexual exploit of a child. Suddenly, the voice I remembered was tainted. Someone my child self looked up to was disgusting. As I read more, I didn't really know what to think. It turns out he was accepted for an Alford plea and spent 57 days in a minimum security facility after being suspended from Valve. Why such a short sentencing, you might ask? Well, according to the case, he was catfished through an adult dating site, and Jess explained that he was unaware the girl he was meeting with was 16. To enter the site, you must confirm that you're 18, and as Jess talked to the girl, he believed she was 23. It is a very controversial case and a hard pill for me to swallow. Jess seems to be a good guy, and I would like to believe he wasn't in the wrong. In the case, it was claimed that Jess was videotaping the girl against her will, which was later denied. He also passed a polygraph test on this subject, further supporting his claim. As investigation continued, the girl also admitted that Jess didn't know she was 16. They communicated via text, and that information was seemingly kept from Jess. After this case, Jess wrote, Despite a good faith effort on my end to do due diligence, I still got catfished on a dating website for adults, where you have to state that you're over 18. He said the evidence showed that there was never a sexual quid pro quo, and it pointed to me looking for a long-term relationship. He later says the situation was very unfortunate, and that anyone should be very careful with people you meet over the internet. Always ask them for an ID. What do you think of this situation? I wasn't expecting any of this going into finding an answer to what I thought would be an innocent fun fact video on one of my favorite video games. Jess was, in his own words and the words of the victim, not intentionally committing his crime. The case was in his favor, but a lack of caution is extremely irresponsible. Do you think that the punishment he was served was fit for the situation? I hope this provides an interesting insight to the voice of Counter-Strike. I know it was quick, but besides posing this question, there's not too much more to add. I would like to see what you all have to say. I'll see you in the comments. Thank you for watching. Peace.